John, my John, let us say Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Gita. So, Gita, after today's, the next week's session will be all about understanding. That understanding is known as the yoga of knowledge. So, knowledge is installed in the intellect, and we all are fairly intelligent, so we can understand easily, but they are wonderful principles. By only understanding, installing the right knowledge in the intellect will bring an end to the suffering. So that we will pick up from the next week. So we have been studying Karma Yoga. We just covered the Yoga Sutra and we understood that real self is neither the doer nor the enjoyer nor the feeler of the pain. The real self is somewhere else. So that brings us then how to live my life daily. So I have to, life without action is death. Action has to be done as long as the life is there. So we understood before that karma yoga means when I'm the doer, I invoke the intellect and I check, is the mind carrying an idea that I am the doer? Drop it. Just focus on the work. Second, drop the fruits, the result of that action. Drop it. So these are the two main elements of karma yoga. Normally, what do we understand karma yoga in different studios? Huh? We already know it. Just give a glass of water to every participant. That is karma yoga. So that, no, we Americans are very easygoing. We turn every principle into easy going. You are undergoing a yoga teacher's training, you have to do karma yoga. Come 1 hour early. Clean the entire studio. I do it. So karma yoga has these two elements. So today we will understand how Krishna talks about this karma yoga in praise of karma yoga. So remember this praise of the karma or the action always goes with your intellect. Why intellect? The intellect must go to have the right understanding, the right knowledge. What a beautiful verse Krishna speaks. Buddhi yukta jahati ubhe sukrat dushkrati tasmat yogai yujyasva yoga karmashu kaushalam. So how should I perform my daily activities? So he defines yoga with reference to karma, action. Uh, what he says in the 50th verse, Buddhi yukta jahati ubhe sukrat dishkrate. My my intelligence must be united with every action. Have you heard that, check it. Where is your body? Where is your mind? Are they at two different places? No, it will not work. It will cause you the stress. So, where the body is, there the mind is. What you think, so you speak. Do you see that? Now we have lot of verses, proverbs like this. So, what this master is saying, yoga karmashu kaushalam. Yoga is skill in action. But how that is done, buddhi yukta. Had the existence given me the intellect? Yes. It has given me the intellect. So, should I think before I act? Yes. I'm entering into Karma Yoga. No. I'm going away from the Karma Yoga. First thing. Understand in a simple way. Buddhi yukto jahati ha. Ubhe sukrat dushkrate. The two together. Now, so it means that in every action, the knowledge is infused. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of seeking pleasure? No. Knowledge of knowledge of claiming that I am the doer? No. Knowledge of focusing on the karma. Whatever the action that I'm doing at present, I must focus on that action. Action without the doer. So when I focus more on the action, what happens? That doership, the idea of a doership coming from the ego drops. The ego drops, the motivation for the fruits of an action also drops. What happens? Karma becomes a play and a fun. Wherever you go, whatever action you do, I call John, hey, how are you doing? Can you come down to my house and help me? No, I have a headache. So that gives me an idea that, okay, he has a headache, so he cannot do it. And the next day again, I called, yes, I'm coming. I'm ready to do it. So you see, the intellect, the knowledge in the intellect should be on the karma, not on the doer. The doer says, I have a headache. Focus on the karma, mind is free. Now, I'm just giving a smaller reference. This is the first time this group is interacting. When we interact second time, I will go a little deeper. So I'm just making it very simple. So the intellect must have the right knowledge. The right knowledge must infuse into my action, into my karma that I'm doing. Okay, let us start with the chapter of the Gita. I'm feeling sleepy and still I will complete it. That's not the attitude. That should not be the attitude in doing anything. Hari, can you give me a glass of water? Yes, sure. Your focus is on the karma, on the action, not to whom you are giving, not to whom you are receiving. What will happen? The mind will remain pure. So, by the karma yoga, we are purifying the mind. Oh, I'm getting an opportunity to teach you. Let me do this karma of teaching. Let me focus on the karma. You understand, very good. You do not understand, very good. It is your mind has to pay attention. Why should I own the responsibility that you have really understood? It depends on you. But it does not mean that I don't care as a teacher. I'm ready to answer the questions. See that. So understand that from the intellect point of view. Now, another part that comes from the traditional discipline. Did I speak about there are, you can say, five types of karma. All our action can be divided five types of action. First is known as nitya and the namitya karma. Nitya karma, nitya karma and namitya karma, it's an obligatory duty. I must do it. If I don't do, I will be punished by sorrow and the suffering. If I do it, I don't get any reward, but I have to do it. Obligatory. I was just talking to Kate. I have to file my tax return of LLC. It is obligatory duty. Millions of people file the taxes, they don't get the reward. So I don't get the reward, but it is my obligation. It is my duty that I must file the tax. Right? Same thing. What is my role at home? I'm living in a family with the kids and honey, etc., etc. I should play my role. When I'm a husband, I play my role. When I'm a wife, I should play my role. When I'm a sibling, I should play my role. When I'm a daughter, I should play my role. Finished. It is obligatory. I should not do any favor to my father who is living with me. Favor means I'm the doer. See, I'm doing a favor to you, Dad. No. You see the beauty of understanding. Then, because we are living in a family with the people, let me find out what is my role to play. Let me play a role of that karma. You will remain happy. If you don't do it, say, Dad is sick, for example, and I don't take him to the hospital, I will be punished. Punished in the mind, with anxiety, with the conflict. My mind will think, see, this guy, known as a dad, did a lot of favor to me, but I did not do anything to him. You will have those opposing thoughts. Now I'm scared because I did not file the taxes. See that? If you don't do it, you are punished at the mental level. That is another cause of anxiety and mental challenges. Second is known as the Namitya karma. That is also obligatory duty. I ought to do it. I must do it. What is that obligatory? Amongst friends, relations, hey, you have to come on my birthday. So if you can come, really, find out. You should attend. Leave aside these two duties are obligatory, must be done. So that is how you are clearing your mind. By performing these duties, you are clearing your mind. You are not going to be punished because you are going to file the taxes, you follow the rules of the road. I have one friend. He had a luxury car, so sometime he drives. And two times he overspeeded. And then I said it is better to avoid sitting as a passenger on his car. And I told him that it is our obligation. I must recognize what is my obligation. I must follow the rules of the road. Why? I should enjoy the freedom. Do you see that? Do you see? From the intellect, your action comes. Intellect, you have a clarity of understanding. I must follow the rules of the road. My son says, you see that, I know that you will always drive within a limit. I said, that gives me a freedom. I file the taxes. That gives me the freedom. I play my role. What is my role? As a father, as a honey. I play my role as a teacher. I play my role. Why should I waste your time? You have come to me for a virtual session. I should not waste even a single minute. Why? I should play my role perfectly well. See, these two karmas. Third type of the karma is known as kamya karma. What is kamya karma? Let me translate in an American way, that I claim that the entire world is a utility for me, utilitarian. I have a motive for the fruits of an action. I have a kind of selfishness in my mind. So, my selfishness in the mind and utilitarian concept in the intellect, I work. Either I work for dad, for my son, for my honey, for everyone. This kamya karma causes 99% of the problems in your life. Kamya karma. So our master says you have to remove this idea, thought in the intellect to convert this kamya karma, which is forbidden, which is desire driven action. I must clear my head. You do it even for a week. After a week, you will see that you are flying into the sky. The mind becomes so light because mind doesn't have any motivation now. Mind knows the agenda. The intellect knows the agenda. Whenever that agenda comes, you fulfill it and finished. Done. This, then only yoga is skill in action. Before that, nothing happens. So, what this does, I'm leaving the other two types of action. One is that, if you have done something wrong, then we repent on it. We repent by understanding it. That is one way. Sometimes we commit mistakes. It's natural. Human is to err until we reach to the higher state of mindfulness. So whenever we do it, we repent on it. And we avoid prohibited karma, prohibited action, overspeeding on the road, not paying the taxes, insulting your seniors, so a lot of stuff, and humiliating your juniors. Don't worry. Don't just avoid it, drop it. Why? Because it will not accumulate unwanted likes, dislikes, hatred, challenges, anxiety, duality, conflict, etc. Don't start talking, my honey is the worst guy. Neither say this, my honey is the best guy. Find out the thin line, balancing act. Balancing act. No likes and dislikes. Why? Attachment, detachment. That leads to that I enter into my individual self, the false self, and the false self will cause the suffering. You are bad. You are bad for yourself. Why should I worry? You are good. You are good for yourself. Why should I worry? Why should I think? Look at this Krishna, the crazy master. Yes, yes, Kate.
So, Girish, we've been struggling with this as a group a little bit. I have a question. So, when your guru died, did you not grieve? Did you not have some sense of sadness because the guru died, but still in essence, there was
Tell
still.
me, who grieves, the false self or the real self? We just covered.
Can I finish first?
Yeah.
And then, so the point, my question was, there is still the belief that my true self is there. And there is the sense of loss from not the real self, but the thinking self. There's grief. So you're saying there is no ever any sense of grief, that's not real. Grief is
You asked me a most beautiful question. My master knew when he is going to leave the body. He called everyone and he said, the moment I die, my body dies, first thing you have to celebrate. Nobody should grieve. Nobody should have a big face. And if you have a big face, you should leave. I will not check you, but you should leave that procession. He warned everyone. He forced everyone to us. You need not to grieve.
So I'm going to follow
Second,
up.
and we
Hang on.
followed it. We followed it. Everyone followed it.
No. I'm following up with a question. So there is never anything but pure happiness, bliss. There is never.
I will solve all your worries. Don't worry. Now, Master said to all of us, there was only one master, and we have been learning from him for years. So every student, every seeker, every disciple knew that, what kind of a master he is. So definitely, we did not grieve, we celebrated that event. He said, I want this body should be used for other living beings. So don't bury me into the ground. Put me into a wooden box with the holes there and drop it into the Ganges River so that the fish and other living beings will eat it. Very clear. And we have to follow strictly. If we are a disciple of our guru, we have to follow his orders. We did the same thing. Then we came back and we invited 300 monks in the Rishikesh, and we gave them more than, say, you can say $1,000 of gift. That was our celebration. That was our grieving for the master. Why? We know the master never dies. When we follow the path of yoga, this is the truth. Now come to the material world. You go for a service to someone died and you declare, oh, there is a real self, why you are grieving, then you are crazy. Then you are crazy. Internally, you should remember the real self. Outside, you follow what the society is doing. They have a big face, so make the big face. Very good, yes, yes. You're right. He died a good death. Yes, he died a good death. You see, you have to play your role in the society. You have to follow the mob, but internally, your intellect says no one dies. You maintain that. So, internal, there is no grief. Real self is all pervading. The more you do it, your thinking self will dissolve, will be replaced by the real self. Then, third point, you ask yourself, your intellect, why I am grieving? Do you learn this? Do you remember the story of the Buddha and the mother? Did Buddha grieve? Mother, you are also my mother. I am very sorry for the loss of your son. Did Buddha said this? Did Buddha say this? Buddha awakened the wisdom in the intellect. Mother, go to every house in the village and find out if no one died in their house. I will make your son alive. See that? Did Buddha grieve? That is his grief. So the person who is grieving, if the wisdom lives in my intellect, I have to find out the way to help others to drop that grief. That is the fourth point. I should find out. Whosoever takes birth has to die. Can you change that? By grieving, if I can change, let me change it then. Then you are greater than these masters. Definitely. You are wiser than those people. Change them. So, is my intellect ready to accept the truth? No. So, why? Because if I die, these people will not come. So, hence, I have to attend their grieving ceremony. Come on. Let no one come. This body is the false self, let it die. So, why? Ah, I remember beautiful women in India, and she has been bubbling with happiness all the time. Yes, Brittany, you have a big question.
I don't know if it's a big question, but it's kind of along the lines of what Kate was asking. Like, I get the birth and death cycle, that's all part of it. But in the work that I do, I work with parents who have abused their children in really horrific ways. And I have a really hard time not getting attached to that. And my job is to offer services and try to help the family, get to where they need to get to, offer services to the kids and things like that. But I really, really struggle not getting attached. So I don't know how,
First thing, the moment you have already answered the question, there is an attachment, there is a detachment. From where it comes? Ask yourself. It comes from the sense of ego, the false self. From where the false self comes? It comes from the ignorance. What is ignorance? Not knowing my real self and sticking to the false self. So, first, I must take care of myself. I should become a seeker. I should reflect again and again that this attachment and detachment and this ego self is causing the ignorance, and hence the result is I am obsessively seated in the body. Who is abused? Body or you? Ask yourself. Ask the question. Go to the ultimate cause. Who is abused the body? Can you reverse this? No. Can you bring an end to the miseries at present and in the future? Yes, I have a possibility. And from there, apply these principles of yoga. So, first, what is the journey of yoga? Am I living into that state? If I'm not living into the state of equanimity beyond attachment and detachment, how the hell this crazy mind guide others? Whitney, take me to those people one day. I will go with you. And I will tell you. It depends on the group. I was given 15 people. They are living a prison life, and out of the 15, 13 committed crime. Crime in the sense that either they killed their own relations or others. So the counselor asked me, can you do something? I said, I can do everything to them. No worries. So just, I'm cutting a short to the story. So I went there. So there were two very strong men to protect me in a session. I said, this is only in the first session you have to be there. Otherwise, you will not be allowed in the second session. Why should I create a fear among them? So why in the first session? Because I wanted to understand them. I have to know that how to make them receptive to what I'm going to talk. In the first session, I have understood, and they were very well built. They gave me a biography that this guy killed 2 people. Incarcerated. I said, okay. In the second session, I started my journey. They gave me almost, I think, 40 sessions. I'm cutting short a story. So in the 20th session, the counselor called me 10 p.m. in the night. You are wanted in the prison. Not to be imprisoned, but so I said, what happened? No, 5 of them, they are asking your presence, otherwise they have created a chaos. So I took my son. It was I was living in East Brunswick, almost 100, no, about 40 miles from there. And so I went there at around 11 p.m. I gave them the lesson. I talked to them, and then I left them. Simply by applying these principles in a simple way. So my another 20 sessions were extended. So for every session, they were paying me much more than enough. Bethany, first. From the Bethany, you become the yoga seeker. Check your intellect. You are away from attachment and detachment. And then look at the incident and event outside and the people. Apply these principles. You become a great Bethany. What happens? So what happens now? See that what happens. We are picking up this sutra a little deeper because of your questions. So what happens? You are purifying the mind. The mind remains in that state of poise and calm. Now you are not asking for any motivation. Deep inside in the intellect is absent. You are not the doer. You focus on the karma. Now understand what is the secret. If I am focused on the action and I am doing the karma, I will definitely get the reward, even though I am not thinking of it. I will definitely get the reward. If I'm over speeding, I will get the reward. It's normal. But if I'm driving in a speed limit, reward is there. I did not get even a single ticket except one in New Jersey. And that too, I was summoned before the judge, and it was just 3 months. So the women judge, she was also beautiful. Women are always beautiful, so not like me and the John. So you agree, you agree, yes. So yes, you can ask. You are freezed. You freezed. So I went to the judge and I just discussed, and so just asked me what you do. I said I put this into order. I just pointed this. I put this into order. What do you mean? I said I just put this into order. Oh, you seem to be a counselor. I said some short of it. Okay, and she started laughing. So fine was $119. She said you have to pay the fee of the court, that is $19, $100 admonished. That was the first appearance. I said, why shouldn't I appear in the court? Let me go and talk. I said, it's not my fault. I proved it. And she agreed to it. Anyhow, you see, you get that kind of a state of fearless and calm. Other, what will happen? Why it will happen? The cop will say something. Why they will say something? You are right. Now, coming to that, go back. When you start working like this, you purify the mind and you are bound to get a reward. The best reward that you get, that your mind remains in calm and peace. The best reward. You increase the capacity and the creativity of your intellect. That helps you to perform your action. That helps you to perform your action with a clarity. And when there is a clarity, it becomes yoga. What is that yoga? Krishna says yoga is skill in action. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Kaushalam means skill. So, what is that? If you are skillful in talking, you are skillful in thinking, you are skillful in driving, what happens? What happens? Do you experience the state of fearlessness? Do you experience the state of calm? Do you experience the state of poise? Whitney, do you experience that state? Yoga is skill in action. Mind remains cool. Then you don't say to the person, "Oh, you look so cool." And inside you look so hot. Because your face shows you have such a big face. Still, you look cool. No, you don't do that. See the beauty of this Gita. Huh? Whitney, if you remain attached with so many stories that you hear, do you remain cool outside and inside? Ask yourself. First,
I
you
don't
have
have to ask myself. It's not even close.
you become cool first so that you can make others cool. See that this is what this verse is so beautiful. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Let us know. Let me go to the verse 51. From the next week, I'll just pick up. That is one of the most wonderful part of the yoga. Now they see that what this verse is. Karmajam buddhi yuktaha hi phalam tyaktva manishanah janma bandhar vinirmuktah padam gachanti anamayam. The sages means the masters who have united their reason and the will with the divine, replace the divine with the real self. 3 points. Reason. Reason means I must understand the journey of my life. Will. You know the will. Prompt me to action. And with the divine. Divine use the word real self. The sages, the masters, or the seekers who have united the knowledge or the wisdom with the will, with the real self, renounce the fruits which action yields, and the liberated from the bondage of birth, they reach the status beyond misery. You have already brought the end of suffering. John, look at your own book, whether the translation is like this or different. If it is different, reject that. And if it is, no, this is not my translation. This is the translation by one great master, Sri Aurobindo. Did I tell you that I use the translation by Sri Aurobindo? Now see that what he is saying. Karmaja, what a beautiful message, principle. And this is the answer to your question in detail, Bitney. Will, wisdom, real self, they are together. You are performing an action. You don't worry for the fruits of an action. And then what happens? You experience a kind of freedom. Yes, one of my another master. I always adore and respect 5 different masters. With whom I got initiation. Swami Lakshman Das of Dhudji. I will send you the picture. The second is Sri Aurobindo and the mother. Third is the UG Krishnamurti. You can say the sibling of J. Krishnamurti. I spent almost 3 months, day and night, with him, 24/7. And I asked the most craziest questions. And he answered me so softly. That delusion was removed. So UG Krishnamurti was just opposite my master. My master followed the traditional discipline. UG Krishnamurti said, reject the authority of all the texts and masters. And I used to go to both of them. I loved both of them. I learned from both of them. That is the beauty of yoga. You are the highest level of seeker, reject the authority of even Patanjali. But if you are not a seeker, if you are not the highest level of seeker, you have to follow the discipline. So anyhow, leave this. Karmajam buddhi yukta. So you see that what the master is saying, understand that. Karma yoga. We are in the praise of Krishna is praising the karma yoga. Why he is praising the karma yoga? You do the practice of meditation 1 hour, 23 hours, your mind is crazy. But as far as the karma yoga is concerned, during the waking state, we have to perform a lot of karma. Karma means action. Action to your friends and your honey, to the siblings, action of eating, teaching, guiding, etc., etc., a lot of karma. The karma yoga can be done 24/7 by understanding this. But karma yoga has to be linked to the intellect. The intellect should be clear with these principles: will, wisdom, and the real self. See that? I am using the translation of our master Aurobindo, who have united their reason, will, with the real self. You will be liberated here and now from today. Leslie, you are liberated from today. You are awakened. Finished. All the problems are gone. But what he says, Karma Yoga, who perform the action with the full knowledge of what in the action binds them and what in the action liberates them. Did you understand? What in my action of teaching will bind me? Can you guess? Yes?
Ego.
Ego. I will think, John must appreciate me. Leslie must appreciate me. Christina must smile. I don't see Brittany, so I cannot say anything about Brittany. You see that? So if that motivation is present, my mind is already divided. It is binding me. It is a binding desire. Why shouldn't I explain in freedom whatever little I know? Let me enjoy speaking and expressing that peace and happiness. Now, this action is not binding me. Outwardly, I'm teaching the same thing, but inwardly, intellect, binding, not binding. Binding, not binding. Now, I'm in praise of the women, Women normally spend 2 to 3 hours before the mirror, and then they go out and no one appreciates. The entire day becomes the worst day in their life. Now think of it, binding, unbinding. Think of it. One, no, with all praise for the women, they should do it. I just do it and I'm ready for class. Same thing with the John, he does and he is ready.
It's because we don't have nice beards and mustaches like you guys.
You don't have a luxury to have beard, Brittany. Come on. You don't have a luxury. Yes,
Yeah, but you might have a full head of hair.
Yeah. It is going backward. So I said, let it go backward. No worries. No. So you see, do you see the point here? The intellect binds you. That results into the karma. And that karma brings the attachment, detachment, fear, reaction, anxiety, duality, conflict, and you're gone. Simple understanding inside the intellect with that wisdom and the knowledge delivers you what the master is saying. Look at this. Padam gachanti anamayam. They reach the status beyond misery. Are you listening with too much of pressure in your mind? That is your problem. So what should I say then? I cannot help that. Or are you listening to me with understanding? What should I say? Do you see that point here? Here and now. Look at it. Janma bandha vinurmukta. The master is saying you get rid of the cycle of birth and death. Come on. Here and now, you start living like this. You see, Janma bandha vinurmukta padam gachanti anamayam. What a beautiful verse. And a message here. Either you offer your honey a plate of food with a big face or a smiling face. Choice is yours. Make the right choice. Why? For your own sake, not for the honey. You smile for your own sake. Normally, we have a conflict between our, oh no, you didn't smile, you didn't appreciate. Why should I appreciate you? You should appreciate yourself first. Do you appreciate? No. My mind was thinking, I will cook this and then you will appreciate me. You appreciate me very good. You don't appreciate me very good. I put all my efforts into the particular action. Leslie, did you understand this point? From today, you start living in peace and happiness. Nobody can ever drop you. Let us pick up, another. This is another verse that changed my life. But it took me. This is my almost, I would say, 20th time I am teaching and learning Gita. Only, I repeat it. I told you that at least one chapter every month. Only one chapter. But you guys are wiser than me, so you complete the entire Bhagavad Gita in one day. I cannot do it. So I think of it, I contemplate, I think, what is the message Krishna is for me? What message you are giving to me? What should I do? How should I live? With every verse. So it takes about a month for me. I am a slow goer. Not as wise as you guys are. Yada te moh kalilam buddhi vyatit rishyati tadagat gantasi nirvedam shrutasya cha. When thy intelligence shall cross beyond the whirl of delusion, then shall thou become indifferent to the scripture heard or that which thou hast yet to hear. So what is the meaning of this? Understand? Yadate moh kalilam. Key milestone in the life of a karma yogi. You see, when you perform the karma according to the principles of yoga, it becomes karma yoga. This verse, the first milestone you reach, what you reach? That is written in the second line of the verse, nirvedam. Nirvedam means indifference. Indifference is not being sad. The precondition for it is to crossing over the mire of delusion. Whitney, I want your attention. The answer is here given by the Krishna. Why should I answer you? Now, mind is not at all affected by the attachment and detachment, profit and loss, victory and defeat, appreciation or the heart. Your mind says, cool, I am cool inside, so I will be cool outside also. You have a right perception, but how that comes, that is written in the first line of the verse, that you have contemplated, reflected, and removed the delusion behind the working. Delusion behind the working. What is the delusion in the work? If I do it, if I will teach you, you will be calm, but I don't become calm. I become more irritated. Then what happens? Then I get more frustrated. Why? Because I do not follow these principles correctly. Now go a little deeper. Delusion is seen at two levels. Delusion is seen at one or two level at first. First is swadharma. What is my duty, Bitni? As a counselor, as a teacher, am I sticking to that duty? No, my mind went back. It is attached. It is detached. It is already upset. I want to make people calm who are already upset. How can a person who is upset can make the other person calm? This is another delusion. I have to get rid of it. I'm not saying anything. Our master is saying. I'm explaining what the master is saying. The first, that is first. So, first level of delusion, it is already in my intellect. That is why I am moved by the sufferings of others with reference to attachment, detachment, likes, dislikes, being upset. My mind is already upset. This is the first level of delusion. Got it? Second level of delusion? Second level of delusion, that I have a grand delusion that I don't know who am I. I am a real self, but I claim that I'm an individual self. I saw your miseries. That is why I'm moved by it. If you will cry, I will also cry. If you become upset, I will also become upset. If you have a big face, I will also create a big face. Then I'm a teacher. Then I'm a teacher. No. Two types of delusion, at the personal level and then at the level of the real self. Unless I get rid of these two different delusions, moh kalilam, that is the meaning. Moh kalilam. And the result is nirvedam. Nirvedam. Nirvedam, which is a word, it is a word used for discernment and dispassion. You see, the different words are used so to convey the right meaning.
Girish, will you send us those words in Sanskrit? Well,
It is there. Moh kalilam, moh kalilam, moh kalilam, moh.
oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
So that is the moh kalilam. It is here, and nirvedam.
Oh, gotcha.
Nirvedam means nirvedam is indifference, discernment, and dispassion. Now see, that will 6 steps. Karma yoga begins in your life when there is a self-awareness. When you do not live your life unconsciously, habitually, instinctively. Second step, purify your mind. How? Remove that motivation of that you are the doer. Remove the motivation for the result. Focus on the karma. Third step, when you perform the action, the attachment and detachment disappears from your mind. Right? Attachment, detachment will disappear. Likes and dislikes will go away. Fourth step. I'm just explaining in steps. Then the fifth step, the delusion leaves you. Delusion leaves you, then what happens? The intellect is cool, mind is cool, the heart is cool, you are cool. How can the cool guy enter into any stress and suffering? You see, I just broke up into 6 steps. Karma yoga begins when I'm aware. One beautiful girl from Eastern Europe, I gave a group session. She said, I do not understand why people outside are so crazy. I cannot guide them. I responded, please start guiding yourself. Simple phrase answer. Now I cannot get out of the yoga. My intellect has become so crazy. She wrote to me after 2 days, I am really sorry. You taught to us 100 times, but I forgot it. This is delusion. This is delusion. Now you understand, Brittany? This is delusion. So first step, what is the first step? Karma yoga begins when I'm self-aware. Second is become aware. Motivation, doer, no doer. I just perform my action. Like a small child. Like your pet dog. If your pet dog has an ego, they will say, Leslie, hell with you. You have insulted me. I'm not coming to you. Focus on the karma. You see the message is so clear. No result. I am doing action for the second step. Now, when the moment you start doing it, attachment and detachment disappears. Attachment, detachment disappears, then likes and dislikes will go away. Fourth step. Fifth step, delusion goes away. Sixth step, nirvedam, equanimity. Intellect is cool, the mind is cool, the heart is cool, you are cool, you have done karma yoga. Do you need to do that? Do you need to do any meditation? No. You need not to do any meditation. Why? You're already in meditation. You see that? What a beautiful verse. Nirvedam. Nirvedam. Until this delusion that I am the individual self is gone, no chance of permanent peace and happiness. Moh kalilam. 2 words are very important. Moh kalilam and nirvedam. And the third and the fourth, what he says? You become indifferent to the scripture, even throw all the books of yoga then. Why? Why? You are the book, live book. You are living your life. I remember my master used to say, you see that? If you understood Gita, why you are keeping the burden of carrying the book of yoga on your head, throw it away. Because you know everything now. Your life is cool and calm. Can any tradition tell you this daring thing? Can any, ask yourself, can any tradition can say it? Answer is no. They cannot say it. They said still carry the burden of the book. Yeah, we still have a couple of verses, but we will start with our next session on the very important verses are coming. And